The planet Kalara was dying. Winds screamed across jagged mountains. Dust storms raged without pause, and the sun scorched the barren deserts in endless waves. Humanity had survived here for decades, clinging to life in scattered colonies, barely scraping by. In orbit above Kalara, satellites blinked weakly, their signals carrying a desperate plea into the void. Humanity had sent SOS messages to countless alien civilizations begging for help. They had pleaded for resources, technology, and guidance. They had hoped for allies, but the galaxy had ignored them. Planet after planet received the distress calls. Messages were read, logged, and ignored. Some civilizations had deemed humans unworthy of help. Others had refused, claiming it was not their responsibility. Humans were alone. On Kailara's surface, Commander Jaren stood on the edge of a cliff, watching the storms churn across the rocky plains below. He held a small device, a transmitter capable of sending one last message beyond the galaxy. "This is humanity's final SOS," he muttered. "If no one responds, then we survive alone." Around him, colonists worked tirelessly, reinforcing shelters and gathering food. Children huddled in the underground bunkers, unaware of the danger outside. Humanity's survival depended on courage, ingenuity, and luck. Jaren pressed a button on the transmitter. A bright pulse of energy shot into space. It carried everything humanity had: coordinates, planetary data, a record of the colony's struggles, and a plea for aid. The signal traveled for light years, fading into the darkness. For hours, nothing happened. Silence reigned across the stars. The colonists waited, hearts heavy with fear and hope. Then in the darkness beyond Kailara's orbit, sensors picked up a faint anomaly. Something massive was moving through space. The readings were unlike any known alien ship. Energy patterns, speed, and size were all unusual. "Sir, sensors are picking something," a young officer said, voice trembling. Jaren squinted at the display. "What is it?" "We don't know. It's enormous, and it's coming fast." The colonists gathered at the communication tower, eyes wide. A shadow passed across the sky, and the temperature seemed to drop as the enormous shapes revealed themselves in orbit. The fleet was unlike anything humans had ever seen. Ships were dark, sleek, and alien, with jagged outlines and glowing blue-green energy running along their hulls. They moved with a precision that made humans feel both awe and fear. "Could they be hostile?" someone whispered. Jaren shook his head. "I don't know, but they are responding to our SOS." The fleet was Deathworlders, legendary aliens known across the galaxy for surviving the deadliest planets. They were fearsome, strong, and almost impossible to predict. Most civilizations avoided them, fearing their wrath or misunderstanding their motives. And yet here they were. A massive ship broke from the formation and descended toward the planet's surface. Its landing was precise, controlled, yet earth-shaking. Dust and debris swirled around the colony as the ship settled onto the ground. Humans scrambled back, stunned by the scale and power of the alien craft. "Stay calm," Jaren ordered. "We don't know their intentions yet. We must be cautious." The Deathworlders communicated through a series of strange low-frequency pulses. Sensors translated the sounds into words. "Humans, we detected your distress. We are here." A collective gasp spread through the colony. Humanity had not been forgotten. Their SOS had reached someone powerful. "Prepare a welcoming team," Jaren instructed. "And keep your weapons ready. We do not know them yet." The first Deathworlder stepped forward. Its towering frame was armored and alien, with glowing patterns along its body. Its eyes, if they could be called eyes, gleamed with intelligence and curiosity. "We know your species' struggles," the alien said. Its voice resonated through the communication translator. "Many have ignored your calls. We did not. We come to see and decide." Humans exchanged anxious glances. Relief mingled with fear. They were saved, or perhaps they were being tested. As night fell over Kalara, the colony gathered around the landing zone, staring up at the massive fleet hovering above. Lights reflected off the storm clouds, casting long shadows across the ground. For the first time in years, humanity felt hope. But the Deathworlders were not here for charity. They were survivors of dead worlds themselves. They had standards, rules, and a sense of judgment. Humanity had been noticed, but now they would be tested. And somewhere, deep in orbit, a pulse of energy spread through the Deathworlder fleet. Every ship aligned, weapons ready yet calm. The galaxy held its breath. The colonists on Kalara held theirs, and humanity waited, uncertain, as their fate hung in the balance. They were ignored for centuries. But now the Deathworlders had answered the call. The human colony on Kalara trembled beneath the presence of the Deathworlder fleet. Massive ships hovered in orbit, casting shadows over the jagged mountains and storm-swept plains. The humans had survived countless disasters, but this was unlike anything they had faced before. Commander Jaren stood with his officers, watching the alien fleet through binoculars. "We don't know what they want," he said. "They could help or destroy us." The largest Deathworlder ship descended to the main settlement, landing in a controlled, earth-shaking thud. Dust and debris swirled and alarms blared across the colony. From the ship's hatch a figure emerged. Towering and armored, it moved with a strange grace. Its body was black with glowing blue-green lines that pulsed rhythmically. The humans held their ground, weapons ready, but their fear was tempered with awe. "We are here," the alien's voice echoed through the translator. "We detected your distress. Many ignored your calls. You survived when others left you. That is notable." The humans exhaled, a mix of relief and tension. Survival was no longer just about fighting Kalara's harsh environment. It now included surviving the judgment of an alien race that thrived on deadly worlds. "You wish to help? Or test us?" Jaren asked cautiously. "Both," the alien replied. "To survive, you must prove yourselves. Humanity is untested by the standards of the galaxy. You must demonstrate your worth." Over the next days, the Deathworlders began their tests. They observed the humans navigating storms, securing resources, and defending against Kalara's deadly wildlife. Every action was analyzed. Every failure noted. The colonists worked tirelessly. Engineers repaired crumbling shelters, scientists managed dwindling resources, and guards patrolled the cliffs and deserts. The humans were resilient, but the Deathworlders wanted more than survival. "Strength is not enough," one alien explained. "Adaptation, intelligence, courage, these are required. You must show that you are more than victims of circumstance." Suspense grew as the Deathworlders introduced controlled challenges, simulated storms, artificial predators, and environmental hazards. Humans scrambled to survive, often barely escaping, but each success impressed the aliens. Meanwhile, across orbit, the Deathworlder fleet maintained its silent watch. Sensors scanned every colony, recording data. Their advanced technology analyzed human physiology, intelligence, and tactics. "They are primitive compared to galactic standards," one alien observed. "Yet they endure and innovate." Fascinating. In the colony, Lyra, a young engineer, found herself paired with a Deathworlder observer during one of the tests. The alien's presence was intimidating, but Lyra noticed a strange sense of respect in its behavior. "You adapt quickly," it said. "Humans are unpredictable, yet resilient. That is rare." "We have no choice," Lyra replied. "We either adapt or die." As days passed, humans and Deathworlders began to understand each other. Humans learned to predict alien behavior, and the Deathworlders began to recognize human ingenuity and courage. Suspense lingered in every interaction. The aliens were still deciding whether humanity was worthy of assistance, and one misstep could mean disaster. The tension peaked when a sudden Kalara storm struck the main settlement. Winds tore through shelters, sand and debris blinding the humans. The Deathworlders observed silently, testing whether humans could survive under extreme conditions without direct help. Commander Jaren coordinated a desperate effort to secure the colony. Humans battled the storm, working together in ways the Deathworlders could not have predicted. Their resilience impressed the aliens, and for the first time, a subtle shift in their tone was noted. Approval. "They are worthy of consideration," the lead Deathworlder announced. "But the final judgment will come soon. Humanity must demonstrate loyalty, courage, and honor under threat." That night, the humans gathered around their campfires, exhausted but alive. They whispered among themselves about the alien fleet, unsure if help or judgment awaited next. "We survived the storm," Jaren said quietly. "But this is only the beginning. If they deem us unworthy, none of us may live to see tomorrow." The stars above Kalara flickered strangely as the Deathworlder fleet hovered silently. Lights pulsed along the massive ships, reflecting on the mountains below. Humanity had caught the attention of one of the galaxy's most formidable races, but the final decision was yet to be made. Somewhere in orbit, the lead Deathworlder sent a single message. The tests continue. Survival is only the first step. Humanity's fate is under observation, and will shape the future of this world. The colonists looked up at the sky, hearts pounding. The SOS had been answered. The Deathworlders had arrived, but the question remained, would humans prove worthy, or be left to face Kalara alone again? The galaxy had finally noticed humanity, but judgment had only just begun. The dawn on Kalara was harsh. Dust swirled across the jagged cliffs and the sun burned the barren plains with relentless heat. Humanity had survived storms, hunger, and predators, but now they faced a challenge unlike anything they had ever known. The Deathworlders' tests. Commander Jaren gathered his team. Every action is being observed, he said. We succeed or fail together. Stay focused. The Deathworlders had established 3 trial zones across the colony. Each was designed to test a key human trait: courage, intelligence, and teamwork. The stakes were high. Failure could mean being abandoned or worse. The first trial was a hostile wildlife simulation. Alien predators, bred to mimic the deadliest creatures of Kalara, were released in the trial zone. Humans had to navigate through rocky terrain and lure the predators into containment zones without casualties. Lyra led a team of engineers and guards. They used improvised tools, traps, and clever tactics to protect themselves and guide the predators. Every movement was monitored by hovering Deathworlder drones, their glowing sensors tracking every decision. Quick, use the canyon walls, Lyra shouted, directing her team. A predator lunged. A guard rolled, triggering a trap that caught the creature safely. Good, keep moving, she yelled. By the end of the trial, every predator had been safely contained. The Deathworlder observers noted their calculations, impressed by the humans' creativity under pressure. The second trial tested intelligence and problem-solving. Humans were led into a labyrinth of ancient alien machinery, with puzzles designed to be impossible for most species. Energy barriers blocked paths, and only the right sequences of switches and patterns would open doors. Jaren stepped forward, studying the alien designs. These puzzles are logical, but not like anything we've seen before, he muttered. Humans worked together, combining knowledge, trial and error, and intuition. Hours passed. Sparks flew, energy barriers hummed, but humans solved the puzzles. The Deathworlders' glowing lines along their bodies flickered, a sign of approval. They adapt their thinking quickly, an observer noted. Resourcefulness beyond basic survival. Promising. The final trial tested teamwork and leadership under fire. Simulated attacks, environmental hazards, and unpredictable challenges tested the humans' ability to coordinate. Storms, collapsing structures, and simulated alien intruders forced the humans to work together seamlessly. Jaren directed the operation like a seasoned general, while Lyra and other leaders coordinated squads. They rescued trapped colonists, stabilized structures, and fought off threats with minimal resources. Keep calm. Protect the civilians, Jaren shouted as a structure began to collapse. The team worked together, lifting debris and guiding survivors to safety. By the end of the trials, humans had passed every test. They demonstrated courage, intelligence, and teamwork, the very traits the Deathworlders valued. After the trials, the Deathworlders convened in orbit. Massive ships formed a silent circle above the colony. Their leader communicated through a deep, resonant voice. Humanity survives the trials. You have shown strength, wisdom, and unity. Few species endure what you have. You are worthy of our attention. The humans exhaled collectively. Relief, hope, and awe mixed together. For the first time, they were seen not as weak, but as capable and resilient. What does it mean? A colonist whispered. Jaren smiled faintly. It means help is coming, and we may not be alone anymore. But the Deathworlders were not finished. They issued a final warning. We will aid your survival, but the galaxy watches. Other civilizations may attack those who ally with us. Humanity must learn quickly to defend itself. Strength and wisdom must continue to grow. The colonists nodded, understanding the stakes. Aid came with responsibility. Survival was no longer just about enduring Kalara. It was about navigating a dangerous galaxy with powerful allies and potential enemies. That night, Humans gathered on the cliffs looking up at the glowing Deathworlder fleet in orbit. Lights shimmered against the storm clouds. Children and elders alike felt a mix of awe and fear. The galaxy had noticed them. They had been judged and survived. "We made it," Lyra said softly. "They saw us for who we are. Maybe we can finally thrive." Jaren added, "This is only the beginning. The real challenge comes when the rest of the galaxy notices us too." Above, the Deathworlder ships pulsed with a quiet, alien rhythm. Humanity had proven its worth, but the future remained uncertain. Allies were powerful, yes, but enemies would come. And when they did, humans had to be ready. They were ignored for centuries. But now, the Deathworlders had not just arrived. They had chosen to watch humanity rise. The storm clouds over Kalara began to clear, revealing a sky filled with the glowing ships of the Deathworlder fleet. For the humans, it was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. These aliens were not just visitors, they were living legends, survivors of the deadliest planets in the galaxy. Commander Jaren stood on the cliff overlooking the colony, watching as the massive ships hovered in formation. "They've seen what we can do," he said to his officers. "Now, it's time to see if we can work with them." The Deathworlders sent a landing party to the colony's central plaza. Their presence was imposing. Towering figures with glowing lines along their bodies moved silently, observing every human action. "We will teach you," the lead Deathworlder said through the translator, "how to survive not just this planet but the dangers beyond it. In return, you must prove your loyalty and courage." Humans exchanged nervous glances. Help came with a price. This was no charity. The aliens demanded respect, obedience, and unity. The first weeks of the Alliance were intense. Humans and Deathworlders worked side by side, building defenses, improving shelters, and training together. The aliens taught advanced technologies, energy shields, climate control systems, and weapons designed to repel both Kalara's deadly wildlife and potential invaders. "Watch the power flow through the shield nodes," a Deathworlder instructed. Humans followed every movement carefully, adjusting the controls, learning faster than the aliens expected. Even children learned the basics of the technology, while soldiers and engineers adapted the lessons into practical defense strategies. Humanity was no longer just surviving, they were becoming stronger. However, not all was peaceful. The galaxy had long ignored humanity, and news of the Alliance quickly reached other civilizations. Some were curious, others were hostile. Reports spread. Humans had allied with the mysterious Deathworlders, one of the deadliest species in existence. "They will see this as a threat," Jaren warned his team. "We must be ready for retaliation." Suspense mounted as small alien scouting ships appeared near Kalara, probing the defenses. Humans and Deathworlders worked together, combining strategy and technology to detect and neutralize the intruders without destroying them. "We mean no harm," Jaren said to the scouts, "but we will defend ourselves." The Deathworlders watched closely, impressed by humanity's restraint and ingenuity. Training intensified. Humans learned advanced piloting, energy weapons, and fleet coordination. The Deathworlders shared secrets of survival on Deathworlds, planets far harsher than Kalara. Humans practiced teamwork under simulated attacks, storm conditions, and resource shortages. "Humans adapt quickly," the lead Deathworlder noted to their fleet commander. "They are worthy allies, but we must continue observation. The galaxy is unpredictable." The Deathworlders emphasized discipline and foresight. Humans began to strategize on a level previously impossible, thinking beyond immediate survival to long-term defense and planetary security. As weeks passed, the Alliance strengthened. Humans no longer feared the Deathworlders, they respected them. And the aliens began to understand humanity's unique resilience. Courage, ingenuity, and determination were traits that few species possess to this degree. Yet even as trust grew, the shadow of potential threats loomed. The galaxy was watching. Betrayers, opportunists, and enemies would soon test the newfound alliance. "We are preparing you for more than Kalara," the lead Deathworlder said. "The galaxy may respond with hostility. Are you ready for what comes next?" Jaren looked at his people. Soldiers, engineers, and citizens stood together, proud and determined. "We survived storms, predators, and isolation," he said. "We can survive anything with allies at our side." The Deathworlders signaled a large ship to orbit the planet. Its hull shimmered with energy. "We will remain until the galaxy sees your worth," the lead alien said. "And then, You may decide your own fate among the stars. That night, humans gathered outside, watching the massive fleet glow in orbit. For the first time, they felt hope. Kalara was no longer just a lonely, harsh world. They had allies. They believe in us, Lyra whispered, staring at the stars. And maybe the galaxy will too. Above Kalara, the Deathworlder's ships pulsed softly in the night. A reminder. Humanity had been ignored for centuries, but now the galaxy could no longer do so. Allies had arrived. Tests had been passed. And the real challenges were just beginning. They were no longer alone, and the universe would soon take notice. The alliance between humans and the Deathworlders had strengthened Kalara's defenses. Shelters were reinforced, energy shields hummed across the settlements, and the humans had begun training alongside their alien allies. For the first time in centuries, they felt secure. But the galaxy was watching. News of humans surviving and allying with the legendary Deathworlders spread faster than wildfire. Many civilizations whispered of this unexpected turn. Some were curious, hoping to trade or ally. Others were fearful or jealous, and began planning attacks. Commander Jaren studied the readings on the communication console. Multiple ships approaching from beyond the outer systems, he said. They aren't Deathworlders, and their intentions are unknown. The fleet sensors detected hundreds of alien vessels, moving with precision. They carried advanced weapons, energy shields, and fleets of smaller attack craft. It was clear. The galaxy would not let humanity thrive without challenge. The Deathworlders convened in orbit above Kalara. Their glowing lines pulsed as they spoke in low tones through the translator. Your presence has disturbed others, the lead Deathworlder said. Some will attack, some may negotiate. You must be ready for both. We can handle it, Jaren replied. We've survived Kalara for decades, and now, with your help, we can face anything. Despite his words, tension gripped the colony. Scouts reported ships moving through hyperspace lanes, calculating attack trajectories. Humans and Deathworlders began emergency drills, practicing fleet coordination, evacuation protocols, and defense strategies. We need to be faster, smarter, and more precise than they expect, Lyra said. One mistake, and it could all end. Small alien vessels arrived first, skimming Kalara's atmosphere. They were scouts, testing defenses. Humans and Deathworlders responded with a combination of energy shields and tactical maneuvers, disabling the intruders without casualties. Impressive, the lead Deathworlder said. You are learning quickly, but this is only the beginning. In the coming days, larger fleets appeared. Their movements were coordinated, calculated, and threatening. The humans realized that Kalara had become a flashpoint in galactic politics. Amid the tension, humans trained relentlessly. They adapted Deathworlder technology for planetary defense, energy turrets on cliffs, cloaked sensors in deserts, and rapid response vehicles for emergencies. Children learned emergency drills. Engineers fine-tuned shields, and soldiers practiced fleet maneuvers with alien instructors. They are fast learners, one Deathworlder observed. Their creativity rivals the best of our scouts. Despite growing confidence, the humans remained cautious. They understood that showing weakness could invite attack, but arrogance could lead to disaster. We survived Kalara, Jaren reminded his team. We faced predators, storms, and famine. Now we face the galaxy. We must survive again, together. Tension escalated further when intelligence reported a massive coalition fleet approaching Kalara. Hundreds of ships from multiple civilizations had united, intent on crushing humanity before the humans became a threat. This is it, Lyra said, her voice trembling. They're coming. The Deathworlders moved swiftly, coordinating with humans to deploy defenses across Kalara. Energy barriers surrounded settlements, advanced sensors tracked enemy movements, and human pilots prepared their newly acquired Deathworlder ships. You will fight with honor, the lead Deathworlder instructed. Your courage and strategy will determine your survival. Night fell. The galaxy's shadow loomed over Kalara. The human colony shone like a tiny beacon, defiant yet vulnerable. Lights from the approaching enemy fleets flickered in the distance. The air was thick with anticipation. "We've survived worse," Jaren said quietly to Lyra. "But this will define humanity's place in the galaxy." The Deathworlders pulsed in orbit, ready to defend their new allies. Humans checked their weapons, readied their vehicles, and took their positions. The first contact with the hostile fleets was imminent. They had been ignored for centuries. But now the galaxy would see humanity fight, and it would remember them. The galaxy had taken notice. Hundreds of hostile ships now loomed near Kalara, their weapons primed and engines glowing ominously. The humans and Deathworlders prepared for battle, their first true test against a united enemy fleet. Commander Jaren stood on the cliff, overlooking the valley where the energy barriers hummed and turrets glowed. "Remember your training," he told the pilots and soldiers. "Stay calm, work together, and we survive." The Deathworlders hovered above in orbit, their massive ships forming a protective shield. Energy pulses ran along their hulls, signaling readiness. "Your species has proven resilience," the lead Deathworlder said. "Now your courage will be tested under fire. Stand strong, humans." The first wave struck at dawn. Smaller attack craft darted through Kalara's atmosphere, firing energy beams and missiles. Human pilots, using newly trained tactics, intercepted them. Energy shields flared as weapons collided with the defenses. "Hold formation," Jaren shouted from the command center. "Do not let them break through." The humans moved with unexpected precision. Engineers guided defensive turrets. Soldiers coordinated ground maneuvers, and pilots dodged and retaliated with agile strikes. Every action was watched by the Deathworlders, their glowing lines flickering in approval. "They learn quickly," one alien remarked. "Adaptation under pressure, rare among species." The enemy unleashed heavier ships next. Massive vessels hovered above, deploying energy disruptors and boarding drones. Kalara's ground shook with explosions, and the humans' shields strained under the barrage. "We cannot hold them alone," a soldier shouted. Jaren remained calm. "We're not alone. Trust the Deathworlders. They've survived dead worlds. We can do this together." From orbit, Deathworlder ships fired precise energy beams cutting through the enemy lines. Human pilots coordinated with the alien fleet, forming unpredictable attack patterns. The hostile fleet faltered as humans demonstrated courage, strategy, and improvisation. "They are worthy," the lead Deathworlder said. "Humanity fights not only for survival, but for honor." Amid the chaos, Lyra led a squad to rescue a group of trapped colonists near a collapsing canyon. Energy blasts ripped through the rocks around them, and debris rained down. Lyra's team moved quickly, using Deathworlder tech to shield the civilians and pull them to safety. "Go, move now," she shouted. Children and adults stumbled, but they followed. They reached safety just as the canyon collapsed behind them. The Deathworlder observers recorded everything. Humanity's bravery, quick thinking, and leadership shone brightest in the moments of extreme danger. The battle raged for hours. Explosions painted the sky with fire and energy. Kalara's surface trembled under the force of the conflict, but humans and Deathworlders pressed forward. Slowly, the enemy fleet began to retreat. Their attacks grew disorganized. Confusion spread among the coalition forces. They had underestimated humanity and their formidable allies. "They adapt to every strike," one enemy commander said. "We cannot predict them. Pull back." With a final coordinated maneuver, human pilots and Deathworlder ships struck in unison, forcing the enemy fleet to scatter across hyperspace. Kalara was safe, for now. When the battle ended, the humans gathered around the command center. Dust-covered faces, sweat dripped, and hearts pounded. But they had survived. For the first time, they had fought alongside allies of unmatched strength and had proven their worth to the galaxy. "We did it," Lyra whispered, watching the horizon. "They won't ignore us again." Jaren nodded, eyes on the stars. "This is only the beginning. The galaxy now knows humans exist, and that we are not weak." The Deathworlders pulsed softly in orbit, a silent but proud acknowledgement of humanity's courage. They survived their first trial by fire, the lead Deathworlder said. Now the galaxy will see that ignoring humanity was a mistake. Kalara's storm clouds cleared, revealing a calm sky filled with stars. The once-forgotten colony had become a symbol of strength, resilience, and unexpected alliances. But Jaren knew more battles would come. They had been ignored for centuries, but now the universe would remember humanity, not for weakness, but for courage, survival, and the allies they had earned. The morning sun rose over Kalara, painting the jagged cliffs and battered plains in golden light. The storm clouds that had once ravaged the colony were gone, leaving behind the calm after the first true battle humanity had faced against the galaxy. Commander Jaren stood on the cliff, overlooking the energy-shielded settlements. Humans and Deathworlders moved side by side, repairing defenses, distributing supplies, and caring for the wounded. For the first time, Kalara felt like a true home, rather than just a battlefield for survival. "We survived," Jaren said quietly to Lyra, who stood beside him, "and the galaxy has seen it." Lyra nodded, eyes scanning the sky. The massive Deathworlder fleet still hovered in orbit, their glowing lines pulsing softly. Their presence was a silent promise. Humanity was no longer alone, and Kylara would remain protected. Across the galaxy, word spread of the humans who had survived the Deathworld trials and had fought alongside legendary aliens. Some civilizations began to reconsider their judgment. Others feared humanity, knowing now that the once-forgotten species had allies no one dared challenge. Back on Kalara, a message was received from the lead Deathworlder. "Your courage, intelligence, and unity have earned our respect. Humanity is no longer ignored, but your survival is only the beginning. The galaxy is vast and challenges remain. We will stand with you, but you must continue to grow." The colonists gathered to hear the message. There was pride, relief, and awe in every face. Children stared at the sky, dreaming of a future where humans were not alone or forgotten. Training and rebuilding continued, but there was a sense of purpose now. Humans had proven themselves not just to the Deathworlders but to the galaxy itself. Every victory in the trials and the battle had left a mark on their species. "We learned how to fight," Lyra said. "We learned to survive. But we also learned we are stronger together," Jaren added. "We survived storms, predators, isolation, and attacks. Now humanity will survive among the stars, and when the galaxy remembers us, it will remember courage, resilience, and honor." The Deathworlders watched silently from orbit. Their approval was quiet but profound. Humans were no longer primitive survivors. They were worthy allies and potential leaders in the galaxy's unfolding history. Weeks later, Kalara's settlements were thriving. Human engineers had integrated Deathworlder technology into shields, energy systems, and spacecraft. Colonists no longer feared storms or predators; they could defend themselves. The Deathworlders had begun teaching diplomacy and strategy, preparing humanity to face future threats. Humans practiced fleet maneuvers, studied other civilizations' tactics, and strengthened their defenses against potential invaders. "They are quick learners," one Deathworlder remarked. "They adapt and endure. Rare traits in any species." Humans began to see a larger vision. They were not just survivors of a harsh planet. They were emerging as a new power in the galaxy, a species that could not be ignored or underestimated. At night, the colonists gathered on the cliffs, staring at the glowing Deathworlder fleet above. Their ships shimmered in the starry sky, a reminder of survival, courage, and unity. Jaren raised his hand, pointing at the horizon. "We were ignored for centuries," he said. "But now, the universe will remember us." The Deathworlders answered our SOS, and we proved ourselves. "This is our legacy." Lyra smiled, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Our legacy is more than survival," she said. "It's hope, courage, and the promise that humanity will rise no matter what the galaxy throws at us." In orbit, the lead Deathworlder observed silently. They had tested humanity through trials, battle, and observation. Now they saw something rare, a species capable of growth, unity, and bravery beyond expectation. "Humanity survives," the alien whispered. "Not by luck, but by courage and spirit. They will shape the future of the galaxy." And on Kalara, humanity looked toward the stars with determination. For centuries, they had been ignored, abandoned, and underestimated. But now the galaxy knew. Humans were survivors, warriors, and allies to be reckoned with. They were forgotten, but no longer. They were tested, they fought, and the universe would never ignore them again.